Party started. All right. Ah, man, I'm glad we're not outside because the wind is blowing. I can hear it. It's amazing how the prediction was right. It was going to be windy. So I know you guys know the drill. Get yourself in a nice, easy gear. Let's just get the legs warmed up. Spin. And you got your water bottle full of water, your fan, your towel. Everything is ready. You're going to like me tonight because we're going to do an endurance-based workout, which means that you don't have to work super hard, but hard enough that you're going to continue to build that solid foundation. And this time of the year is a good time to do that. Get that foundation set so that when you do get back outside in the spring, you'll be better off than those people that just been sitting around all winter. And lots of commitment to come here, I know. It's 7 o'clock, so I thank you for being here and committing to yourself and to the workouts and getting yourself ready, more ready than other people might be doing. I was just watching a video about kind of like the way that the pro cyclists are training now. And there's been all kinds of different training modalities running through the pro ranks over the years. And it is interesting to see how training mechanisms have changed over the years. Used to be 80% endurance, 20% kind of above that. Some people are now doing 40-20, meaning you spend 40% of your time kind of pushing it a little harder. So it depends on the coach, the athlete, and not every mechanism works the same for everybody. Also may depend on what discipline you're using it for. So if you're a triathlete, it's one way to train. And if you're a pure cyclist, it's another way to train. So those things all play into it. But tonight, working on this foundation, it's like, kind of think of your training as almost like a pyramid. If you set that solid base, then you can bring all the other pieces in as time goes by. So tonight, that's what we're going to do. We're going to work on that endurance, but it's not going to just be totally endurance based. I'm going to push you just a little bit at the end of each of these blocks, just so you can get out of that comfort level just enough. So if you're doing that 80-20 version, today we're definitely doing 80-20. 80% of this will be endurance, and 20% we're going to just push you a little harder just to work the muscles, work the body, get it to function in a little different way. Plus, today being the Lunar New Year, I'm going to give you some Lunar New Year facts along the way. I didn't actually have a red double star jersey, so I wore my white one that has a little accents of red, since it's good to have, and you'll see when I go through that why the color red is so important for today. All right, so we're going to start getting ourselves warmed up a little more. It's going to be a simple 30-second, 30-second. So we're going to do 30 seconds in our small ring 15, seated. Then we're going to just shift up to the big ring and do 30 seconds standing in the big ring. We're going to get that going for about 5 minutes, just to warm up the legs a little bit more. So if you want to, if you're not in it yet, remember you're 15. You're going to show about 3 gears under your chain. So go ahead and find that gear. Find the 15. Look back if you need to. 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Kind of push this gear. Start to get yourself a little breathless. That's what we want. A little burning in the legs, even better. We want to get the legs warmed up sufficiently. All you're going to do, shift to that big ring and stand up. Feel the legs start to warm up. Sticking with it. At the end of that 30, 3, 2, sit back down. Shift back down to that small ring. It's a hard transition to make sometimes. From the big ring to the small, and also from being seated to standing, standing to seated. Up to that big ring, standing up. Nice and tall, right over those pedals. Legs might be burning. That's what we want. 3, 2, sitting down. Small ring. Keep it moving. It's not a rest. It's about warming up. You might feel yourself starting to sweat. That's good. Back to that big ring. Standing up. We'll be 3 minutes in. At the end of this segment, 2 to go. Hands should be in the hoods. Sit back down. Small ring. Keep your legs moving. Don't let yourself kind of fall into, I want to rest. Not yet. You'll thank me for getting you well warmed up. Up to that big ring. Standing up. Nice and tall in your chest. Looking up at the ceiling if you need to. Feel that little piece of your saddle right between your legs. Sitting back down. Small ring, last minute. Stick with it. If you have metrics to follow, use them. That's why you have them. Last time standing, big ring. Quick turnover, quick turnover. I shouldn't see you kind of falling to the bottom. Feel your core. Then you know you're in the right place. 3, 2, 1. Small ring. Nice easy gear. 2 minutes. Take a drink. All right, let me explain how this is going to go. It's an endurance ladder. Each one of these, I want you to be in a zone where you should be able to talk to me in a full sentence. Or if you already know your zones, heart rate, power, whatever it should be, in that endurance zone, zone 3, I want you more towards the bottom of that zone. If you're just using your rate of perceived exertion, put yourself around a 6 or a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10. So these shouldn't feel super hard. But what might happen is you might really sweat a lot. So have that towel ready, because this is actually your fat burning zone. So you're going to find that the body is going to want to cool itself as you go through this. So it's going to start with the first effort being 2 minutes. After that 2 minutes, you're going to go 1 minute just immediately after the 2. And you're going to go just a little bit harder, picking up your cadence. And then after that minute, you're just going to go 30 seconds, kind of pushing yourself, maybe into zone 4, just to kind of push the envelope just a little bit more. And we're going to walk through a ladder with time. So the first one, 2 minutes, small ring, you pick the gear, put yourself at a 90 cadence. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. If you want to go a little higher than 90, that's fine with me. Just pick that zone that feels, it should feel comfortable. You shouldn't be struggling to stay here. You should just be sitting in, feeling nice and comfortable, and thinking about all those body dynamics that we talk about all the time. Nice light feet, shoulders are down, elbows bent, nice light hands, letting yourself have a comfortable face, no grimacing, just letting the legs spin. Kind of catch yourself almost like getting in a trance. That's what these kind of efforts are for. Because those long endurance miles, say you're doing a century, this is where these kinds of efforts help set the stage for you. If you feel like you're breathing too heavy, then back it down. Either shift your gear, change your cadence, do whatever you need to do to just dial it back a little bit. So whatever metric you're using right now, know that in 10 seconds, you're going to pick it up for a minute. So let's say you're at 125 power. Try to get it to 130. 3, 2, 1. If you're at 90 cadence, dial it up to 95. Just bring it up slightly. Either 5 PowerPoints, maybe a beat or two faster in the heart rate, a couple of RPMs higher in your cadence. Remember all those because you're going to use that as your bar for the rest of the workout. Now when I count it down, I want you to shift to one harder gear and give me 30 seconds, just a little bit harder. 1, 3, 2, 1. One gear harder. Push it out for 30. If you go outside of your zone 3, that's fine. This is just enough to force the body to work a little bit more. Three, 2, 1. Easy gear. Take a drink. Nice, right? That is an endurance set. So we're going to take 2 minutes. Let you recover. Shouldn't be that hard to recover, but you still can utilize this time in between. So that one was 2, 1, 30. Now we're going to go 3 minutes for the first set. 1 minute a little harder. And again, 30 seconds, even harder. So that's when on these kind of workouts, having some kind of metric to follow really does help. It really does give you some feedback for what you're doing. Power is really the best number to use. And if you haven't done your power test in a while and you're not really sure what those power zones should be, then utilize what feels right and then look at your power and see where you're at, which is also an okay way. All right, we got 30 seconds before we start. Again, for this next set, you're going to be in your small ring, whatever gear you decide, 90 plus cadence. We're going to go for 3 minutes this time. And I want you to keep all those same things in place that you did for the last 2-minute effort. So the first set should look the same for each one of these. All right, let's go ahead. Find your gear. 3, 2, 1. Get yourself where you want to be. It's going to be 3 minutes long. I'll start keeping company with some facts. So the Lunar New Year, which is today, is the biggest holiday in the Asian culture. It's the oldest and most important holiday in China, and it's also celebrated in other countries like Indonesia, Japan, Malaysia, South Korea, Singapore, Thailand, the Philippines, and Vietnam. Over 2 billion, with a B, people celebrate the holiday around the world, including our very own New York, London, and even like Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. Now, part of the reason why I'm able to read this so easily is because I'm right in the zone I want to be in. If I wasn't, I would probably be talking in short 1 or 2 word sentences. So that's also a gauge for yourself. to determine if you're in the right gear or not. This festival is also called the Spring Festival, even though winter is when the festival is celebrated. The Lunar New Year is called the Spring Festival. It welcomes in the beginning of spring. The traditional Chinese lunar calendar originated about 4,000 years ago and was created to divide the year into seasons for agriculture. Because the new year falls around the time the sun is entering a position to start a gradual warming, many farmers will start planting crops, signifying the beginning of spring, which is one of the ways the holidays was also dubbed the Spring Festival. And as you may have started to notice, we're having more light in the end of the day. Woohoo! My favorite thing. All right, we're coming up to that 3-minute mark. Bring up your cadence. Bring up your effort for 1 minute. Just a touch. Maybe 5 RPMs. Maybe a couple of beats higher in the heart rate. And that power, just bring it up very slightly. And then remember, we're going to do a 30-second to finish it off. We're going to shift to one harder gear when I count it down. And you're going to give me 30 seconds. 3, 2, 1 harder gear. Push it out. If you tap into zone 4, that's fine. Just enough to feel the legs have to surge a little bit. And 30 seconds is nothing. 3, 2, 1. Nice, easy gear. Take a drink. So you're kind of figuring the way this is going to go. The next one's going to be 4 minutes. And yes, this is a 2-pager. Still printing these out on paper. It's a lot easier that way. If I was really sophisticated, I'd have like a computer right here, have the workout up there. And if you guys ever wondered why I never really put any music to these, it's because I put them on YouTube and I'd have to do all the copyright stuff and you can only play certain music. So as a result, I don't put any music in the workouts. That's why you get me talking up a storm the whole time. All right, we're coming up to the same kind of effort as you've just done. We're going to do 4 minutes at that small ring, 90 around cadence. 1 minute a little bit harder. And then that last 30 seconds, pushing the envelope, but not too hard. It's not a sprint. It's just a little increase in intensity, just to keep you honest. So if you're picking the same gear for each one of these, that's fine. But if you find that gear, you start feeling like you need a little more gear because the legs are starting to warm up, then go ahead and use that. Find your gear. 3, 2, 1. All right, settle in. You might find as you cool down in that recovery phase in between, when you start back up, kind of your power surges or you surge in terms of your cadence. See if the next time we start an effort, you can just dial it right back in to whatever that effort level is. And it might be because you need a little more gear now. So you'll know what it means as you start to get through this 4-minute effort. All right, so I talked about wearing the color red. According to Chinese legends, a beast named Nian, I may have said that wrong, would devour villagers on New Year's Eve. Many traditions are linked to the Gawao Niam, which means surviving Niam's attack. Legend has it that many people tried to ward off this monster with food, but wearing red is what ultimately drove the monster away. It also why fireworks are a big part of the tradition. The sound is said to scare off the evil spirits. All right, 2 minutes. 2 to go. Check where you are. If you find yourself feeling good, that's what we want. If you find yourself struggling, then dial it back just a bit. I don't want you to go hard today. So 2025 is the year of the snake in many Asian countries, but some have different zodiac signs they follow. In the Vietnam and central Nepal zodiac, the rabbit is replaced with a cat, while Malay zodiac, it's a moose deer, whatever that is. Many cultures will also have their own traditional costumes, foods, and events. In the Philippines, people will jump for joy at midnight. As tradition says, it will make them grow taller. People in Singapore will eat yu shing, a traditional raw fish salad, and that's only had during the holidays, while others will have nian gao, which are dumplings. And I apologize to anyone that knows Mandarin or any of these languages that I am butchering as I read this. We're coming up on 4 minutes. Check your data. See where you are, because you want to just bring up the intensity just slightly. 3, 2, bring it up. Whatever it is, cadence, power, heart rate, or just listening to your body. A little harder going 4 minutes. Stick with it for this next 30 seconds. And then you're going to shift to one harder gear when I count it down. And make that last 30 seconds a lot more intense. All right, 3, 2, 1 harder gear. Let's go. Stay focused. Whatever number you see at the beginning, Hold it all the way through. Ten to go. 3, 2, 1. Easy gear. Nice job. Take a drink. I need to switch to my next page. All right, this next one is going to be the last one. It's going to be just like the previous one, actually. 4 minutes. And then we're going to start going down the ladder. But here's the difference, and you knew it was coming. We did these first couple in our small ring. Now we want to switch to that bigger ring. Give us a little harder of an effort. If you're at the top of your cassette in that big ring, that's fine. Because remember, this is an endurance-based workout. You might be sweating a ton if you're in the right zone, but your legs don't have to feel like rubber because we're not pushing them to that kind of limit. So the same thing applies to here. 4 minutes. I'm going to drop the cadence a little bit. If you feel like you need to go 80, 85, 90, then that 1 minute increasing the cadence. And then one harder gear for that 30 seconds. Can make this happen. Now you know what to expect. Same thing, 4, 3, 2. So go ahead and find your big ring. Find the gear you want. 3, 2, 1. If you're using power, you may notice that your power is a little higher. That's just because of gearing. So you can back down your cadence a little bit. Bring down the intensity. But that bigger gear, it's going to make you work a little differently. Find that nice, smooth pedal cadence. Feel your feet being light. I'm always aware of my feet in my shoes. And I know I say that over and over again, but it really is. It's about feeling that lightness in my feet that helps me to keep the effort, not working the muscles as much. Because we're in an endurance sport. The more we can save our muscle strength along the way, the better off we're going to be. All right. So how do they determine the dates for this festival? Many Chinese rulers debated the start of the festival, and for years, the date went back and forth. It finally was decided that it would follow the traditional Chinese lunar calendar. This marked the beginning of the festival as of the first new moon of the year and ends with the full moon, which is about 15 days or 2 weeks. This means it can fall anywhere between January 21st and February 21st. 2 minutes in. There are different taboos associated with this holiday. Most spring cleaning, in quotes, will happen before the Lunar New Year. That's because during holidays, it's believed that sweeping and removing trash symbolizes misfortune and bad luck, especially during the first 3 days. Cleaning before the new year will help get rid of the bad luck, but during the holiday, you don't want to sweep or wash away any good luck that comes. Many people also will not wash or cut their hair, as the Chinese character for hair is the same character for prosper. Washing or cutting your hair is seen as a way to wash away your prosperity. Whew. Traditions are fun. We all have them in our families. And hopefully, from generation to generation, they get carried down. All right, we're coming up to 4. 1 minute, just a little bit harder. 3, 2, let's go. Stay in that gear. Feel yourself pushing the effort. All those metrics should get a little higher. Stay relaxed now. "30 seconds till we hit that last 30-second effort. Stick with it. Find the flow. Nice circles. Nobody's pedaling squares. 1 gear harder. Let's go. It's only 30 seconds. It's nothing. You got it. 15. 5, 3, 2, 1. Down to that small ring. Up to an easy gear. Woo, take a drink. All right. You know where we're heading, down the ladder. So each of these should get easier. Not that the previous ones were super hard, but you should definitely feel the difference as we start to come down this ladder. For the 3 minute and the 2 minute, you're going to stay in that big ring. So we can force you to work just a tad bit harder. I don't know about you guys, but on Wednesday nights, I sleep like a baby. I might stay up a little later just because I'm wired. But once I get in bed, I don't think I wake up until the morning. That's a good thing about these kind of workouts. They make you tired. But they're so good for us. I'm hoping that on other days of the week, you're jumping on your trainers. You can always use the YouTube channel if you need some old workouts. And remember that you can always call up a friend. Say, let's Zoom, let's have a workout together. Or if you're using Zwift or Rouvy or any of those, it's another way to go. All right, let's go to 3 minutes. Take that big ring, just like the last one. Find your gear. 3, 2, 1. Remember, not too hard. You got to hold back. That's the other good part about these kind of workouts is teaching you the patience to hold back. Sometimes when we're with a group or we go out for a ride, get a little bit too ambitious right from the start because you feel fresh. But just like for these workouts, you got to warm up and then know if it's a 40-mile ride, you got to pace it out. But if it's a 15-mile ride, okay, you can go a little bit harder. Or based on what you decided to do that day, that might determine the workout for you. All right, so red envelopes. Sure, many of you have heard about these. It's a tradition to give your friends and family a bright red envelope filled with money. But it's not about the money. It's all about the envelope. They symbolize good wishes and luck for the year ahead. With today's technology, many people have engaged in digital red envelopes instead of traditional paper ones. The tradition comes from an old story about a demon named Sui, who would terrorize children on New Year's Eve. Parents would try to keep their children awake by giving them 8 coins to play with. Inevitably, many of the children would fall asleep, and that coins, a mortal in disguise, would light up and drive the demon away. The envelope is now symbolic of the coins. The amount of money never includes the number 4 because the Chinese pronunciation of 4 sounds like the word for death. All right, we're coming up to 3. You're going to give me 1 minute, a little harder. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Increase the cadence. That's all you really need to do, because everything else will follow. We know that increasing the cadence will increase your speed, your power, and depending on what gear you're in, all those factors will come into play. Concentrate on those metrics. Almost to the 30 seconds. When I count it down, 1 harder gear. 3, 2, 1 harder gear. 30 seconds. Let's go. Stick with it. It's only 15 seconds now. Three, 2, 1. Back to your small ring. Back up to that easy gear. Woo! 2 minutes, take a drink. Where are you in your hydration? You should be almost, should have maybe just a quarter left. We don't have much of this workout left to do. This one went fast. I didn't think it was actually go fast. I thought it would go slow, but I guess when I talk a lot, which you guys love, it always seems to go faster. All right, so 1 minute's down, 1 more minute to cool, and then you know what the last one's going to bring. If you want to push yourself a little bit harder, this last one, you can bring it up for the 2 minutes, bring it up for a little bit for that one, and then make that last 30 seconds almost like an all-out effort. Even if you want to sprint it or stay seated for 15 and stand for the last. I'll give you time in that last 30 seconds so you can decide what you want to do. Or if you want to see if you can control the effort as you've done all the ones previous, then that's what that one will turn into, is a very controlled effort. Sticking with the numbers that you've been using all along and staying in the endurance zone just as you've done for the whole workout. Again, big ring this time. Go ahead and go there. Find your gear. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 2 minutes. Nice and controlled. Last one is the best one. And for the Lunar New Year, and like many holidays of ours, family is an important part of the culture and holiday. Special time to gather with loved ones. Part of the Lunar New Year is the reunion dinner, known as the Tian Neon, or We Do, where families gather on New Year's Eve. It's considered one of the most important parts of the celebration. Many will also take part in ancestor worship, which is based on the belief that deceased family members are continuing to live in the spiritual world. By paying their respects to their ancestors, they believe that the departed will bless the family. Ancestors are usually invited to join the reunion dinner and will be served their favorite dishes. Nice tradition. Food always seems to be the center. It's great. All right, we're almost coming to our 2-minute mark. When I count it down, you'll push it a little harder for that minute. 3, 2, here you go. Bring up the cadence. Working a little harder effort. Now you're tired. This is when you have to convince your body to relax. Because the body wants to tense up. Say, I can't do anymore. You can though. I know you can. When I count it down, that last 30 seconds, one harder gear. Here we go. 3, 2, 1 harder gear. 30 seconds. I'll give you every 10. 10 down. 20 down. If you want to stand up, go for it. 5, 3, 2, 1. Woo, good job. Nice. All right. Whew. Easy gear. Spin it out. Take a drink. Finish up what's in your bottle. I'm going to do a 5-minute cool down. If you need to stay on the bike longer, I would recommend it if you can. 10 minutes is a good time frame. I like to stop us at 8. But if you can make it happen, go for that. I had somebody ask me today, so do you ride outside over the winter? I said, yeah, to some degree, but if there's snow on the ground, not really. And I don't have a fat bike. I don't think I would buy one though. Not enough snow anymore to justify a fat bike. They are fun in the snow. Especially if you have the right tires with studs in them. There are some trails up north for fat bikes, and they groom them and everything. It can be a really fun experience. But a fat bike is a place, you need to have a place to store it because it is really a big bike. So just like always, I'm going to talk about what to do after this workout, which you should really, even if you don't feel it doesn't do much, but believe me, it does. That recovery source is so key. Having a protein shake after, or even, you don't even need to make a shake. I'll tell you what I do. I take my protein powder, a little bit of creatine, I put it in a water bottle with 2 ice cubes and some almond milk. Shake it up, and that's my shake sometimes. You don't have to go all out. You don't have to do a banana. You don't have to do spinach. You don't have to do chia seeds if you don't feel like it, or if you feel like it's too much at this hour of the night. And the other part is, what did, or maybe some of your parents or grandparents would say, let's have a warm glass of milk before you go to bed. Well, guess what? They knew what they were talking about. Some nice protein like that right before you go to bed really allows you to sleep soundly. So really add that into your toolbox of things because it does matter. It might not feel like it's making a difference, but it really does. I notice it for myself. If I do a workout and I get lazy and I don't do a recovery shake, the next day I'll notice it. Just a little bit, like walking around or jumping on the trainer to do another workout the next day. It does make a difference. So pay attention to those factors because they are important. And the hydration the following day also helps to flush out any of that fatigue. That's why I push the hydration so much on you guys, because it matters in so many factors. The other thing you might notice too about this time of the year, because we're inside so much and we're in heated places, the heat is very drying. So it dries our skin, dries our lips, and that's a sign of your body needs the hydration. Your skin needs the hydration. So get really good at making sure that you put that as number 1 on your list of things to accomplish in a day, along with whatever you're doing for work, or if you're not working anymore, whatever kinds of activities you're doing. It's really important stuff. All right, guys, this was a good one. As always, I thank you for coming and joining me. Would have been a little quiet by myself. And great job. Don't forget to save your workout. That's a real bummer when that happens.